Leave It to Beaver was ideal. Clean house, happy faces, lesson in the end. America adored it. Reruns kept it alive as ratings rose. Later, the film brought the story back to theaters and new viewers. But beneath that cheerful picture were difficulties the makers wanted to hide. A script that pushed the line, cast pressures, and tough set decisions. One episode created studio controversy and murmurs. Some solutions were easy, others were long-held secrets. While the show seemed immaculate, reality was messy. We examined the program, the characters, the backstage drama, and the secrets the creators wanted you to never see. Leave It to Beaver was more than a family show. The 1950s and early 1960s suburban America was reflected in it. Jerry Mathers played young Theodore the Beaver Cleaver, who weathered childhood turmoil with his family and friends. The show captured what it was like to grow up in a middle-class home. Beaver was innocent, curious, and sometimes mischievous. That's what made him relatable. Being honest about his flaws made him America's boy. His distaste of girls turned into fascination as the show went. He also had crushes on Miss Canfield and Miss Landers, his teachers. Different topics were covered each week. School, home, or his neighborhood, showing how one boy's modest adventures might convey a generation's tale. Beaver's world was every post-war American boy's dream. It's no surprise that audiences still nostalgically remember this show decades later. Behind the charm and fun were intriguing anecdotes about how the actors met and how serendipity shaped this cherished performance. Honest audition that changed everything. Jerry Mathers got a unique role. While most students strive to impress directors with excitement, Mathers did the opposite and succeeded. He wore his Cub Scout uniform to his audition because he had a meeting later. He admitted he would rather be at his Cub Scout meeting than auditioning when asked if he was thrilled for the role. Instead of disdain, Joe Connolly and Bob Mosher saw a spark of honesty they couldn't ignore. His honesty got him hired. His natural behavior fit their needs. Boy who could be himself on screen. Mathers had appeared in commercials and little films before Beaver, but it defined his career. His charm came from being authentic, not contrived, and his story began in a less glamorous place. Shopping with his mom altered everything. Fate sometimes finds you in unexpected places. At age 2, Jerry Mathers was at a mall when it happened. Lifeguard to Big Brother. Tony Dow lived a different life before becoming Wally Cleaver, his reliable big brother. Unlike Mathers, he had no acting experience. Dow, a lifeguard and athlete, was discovered by chance. A pool-goer noted his good looks and confidence. He was on a top American show before he realized it. His story is even more intriguing because he had other talents. Dow was a junior Olympics diving champion. He was young, driven, and used to excelling. That discipline eased his move into acting. People say talent comes in many forms, and Dow showed it. From saving lives in the water to performing for millions, he worked hard everywhere. You would never know that was his first time acting. His remarkable connection with Mathers made their brotherly relationship one of TV's most convincing. Although their fame soared, those behind the scenes recognized how perilous it might be for young performers. An unusual measure was taken to ground them. Pearls, heels, and life lessons behind the scenes. Most people never saw the real tales behind the Cleaver family as America fell in love with them. Producers asked young stars Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow to skip the show. They feared watching themselves would egotize the lads. Tony Dow remembered, the writers, the producers, instructed us not to watch. They wanted us to stay humble. They humbled the kids this way. It works. While the lads learnt discipline on set, Barbara Billingsley, who played June Cleaver, mastered concealment. Her exquisite pearls were more than fashion. They covered her surgery-left neck hollow. Even while not filming Leave It to Beaver, she hid the scar with pearls or scarves. She was accused of overdressing by some spectators. They had no idea her look was intentional. Barbara handled criticism well, but her developing sons were another silent issue. As Jerry and Tony got taller, producers urged her to wear high heels to maintain the motherly height difference. Their tiny technique of keeping the family illusion. Hugh Beaumont, who played Ward Cleaver, shared his life lessons. He was a clergyman who preached morality before action. He was doing it again, but on TV. He had spent years guiding people in real life, so his calm, fatherly guidance on television came effortlessly. Ward taught his sons with sincerity because Beaumont believed those statements. This cast made one of TV's most wholesome and enduring sitcoms, one with honesty, emotion, and a little real-life experience behind every line. Hidden hardships of Cleaver on television. Leave It to Beaver's June Cleaver was always beautiful. Her clean clothes, kind voice, and heels made her the quintessential 1950s mother. But beneath that flawless facade lay a strange fact. June didn't wear heels for glamour. She wore them since her sons grew taller each season. To avoid looking shorter than Wally and Beaver, the producers had her wear high heels throughout the house. Imagine standing in heels for hours while cooking, cleaning, and parenting. By season 6, her heels were taller than ever, but she started with flats. Style wasn't an issue, maintaining the illusion that June was always in charge. She was matriarch. The filmmakers wanted her to be a strong, stylish mother who overcame the boys physically and metaphorically. Thinking about it now is humorous. Natural for sons to outgrow their mothers. TV had to maintain an image then. June kept smiling, but Ward Cleaver, her on-screen husband, had a story behind his calm, fatherly countenance. One not as cheerful as it seems. Actual Ward Cleaver disputes. A pastor before becoming America's favorite TV dad, Hugh Beaumont. He taught morality and discussed right and wrong on Sundays. Not his first dream, acting. It was his way of making a living. He was ideal for Ward Cleaver due to his deep voice and calmness. But his personal life behind the camera was hard. Minnesota was Beaumont's home, and traveled to LA to film the show. During one trip, disaster struck. His family had a catastrophic vehicle accident on their way to meet him. Beaumont regretted taking the position after his mother-in-law died in the crash. His terrible recollection lingered. Despite playing a caring and knowledgeable father on TV, he struggled with joining the show. He also disliked how celebrity damaged his profession. He was typecast as Ward Cleaver like many of his castmates. Hollywood couldn't envision him as anybody else, no matter how hard he tried. He was also dissatisfied about continuously trailing Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow, the young stars. But Beaumont didn't express his bitterness. His conduct was professional. He discovered new artistic outlets over time by writing and directing episodes of the show that caused him so much emotional struggle. Real-life stories. Beaumont was more than acting. He also shaped popular stories. Family Scrapbook was one of his episodes he wrote and directed. While cleaning, June finds an old scrapbook and the family gathers together to remember. It was a beautiful way to look back upon the show's history, but most episodes were true. According to Jerry Mathers, producer Joe Connolly kept journals with childhood experiences and ones his kids told him. Leave It to Beaver revolved around those stories. Like life, they were humorous, touching, and awkward. People were drawn to it because of that. Not simply the stories made it special. Even the characters changed unexpectedly. Consider Eddie Haskell. He was meant to appear in one episode. But writers liked actor Ken Osmond's charisma and chemistry with the cast so much they kept him for 6 seasons. Magic like that can't be planned. Behind that magic was an untested notion. A child-narrated family show. A show about actual people. Most vintage TV series were from parents' perspectives. Yet Leave It to Beaver reversed it. The show explored children's worldview, mistakes, curiosity, and emotions. It was special because of that. Parents could learn more about their kids by watching. Kids saw themselves in Beaver's simple escapades. The show was beautiful on TV, but the actors' real lives weren't. Actress Barbara Billingsley, who played June, lived differently off-screen. After her husband died, she raised 2 children alone. Her life was full of obstacles her TV persona never faced. But that made her performance more inspirational. Through her difficulties, she gained strength. Glenn Billingsley, her son, claimed she was as loving, sophisticated, and attractive as June Cleaver. Barbara acknowledged that her role and true self occasionally overlapped. Her thought was that the writers write about you and their character. So you get confused. People can be affected by acting. It can make people live 2 lives, one for the camera and one in real life. Barbara saw all sides of herself as graceful. Her co-star Tony Dow also changed careers. Left Hollywood to become a great sculptor after growing up in the spotlight. Dow showed that life after celebrity may be creative as a lifeguard, Olympic diver, actor, and artist. Each Leave It to Beaver character has a deeper narrative than the cameras portrayed. The fun, wisdom, and love on screen originated from real people who transformed their challenges into classic entertainment. Barbara Billingsley after June Cleaver. After Leave It to Beaver, Barbara Billingsley faced typecasting, which many actors fear. She portrayed June Cleaver so well that no one could recognize her. Her career suffered for years because casting directors thought she was too sweet for other roles. She took a break and traveled instead of looking for work. She resumed acting in the late 1970s. She demonstrated she still had it when she returned. In 1980, she played a jive-speaking passenger in the comedy Airplane. That unexpected role relaunched her career. Barbara showed she could surprise audiences beyond June Cleaver. After her husband's death, she raised 2 sons, demonstrating her resilience off-screen. She became more understanding of misbehavior as a mother and on TV after that encounter. She regularly asked the show's writers to make Beaver and Wally's blunders more realistic to make her character's frustration feel true. In sequences where she's upset with the boys, the producer claimed she constantly comes over with the script and objects. It's unclear why June is upset over Beaver's actions. Real-life motherhood made her TV character one of the most believable and appreciated ever. Jerry Mathers, who played Beaver, embarked on a separate career path as Barbara rebuilt hers. The unexpected journey of Jerry Mathers after Beaver. Jerry Mathers quit show business to live a normal life after becoming the loving Beaver. He studied, joined Beaver and the Trappers, and attended UC Berkeley. He studied philosophy and graduated before becoming a commercial loan officer. After a decade away from Hollywood, he returned in 1978, proving the Beavs had more to offer. During his absence, he began hearing bizarre rumors. One of the strangest was his Vietnam death. The rumor spread so extensively that his family got condolence calls. Actually, Mathers was in the Air Force Reserve and never left the U.S. He joked that a pal woke him up and said, "Do you know you're dead?" while presenting him a newspaper that mislisted his name among the late troops. Another soldier with a similar name confused him. His mother was heartbroken by the mistake, who was called by a fan grieving her loss. Mathers reported years later that he wanted to join the Marines before joining the Air Force Reserve. They declined because they didn't want to lose another celebrity after a famous football player died in conflict. Mathers eventually fought again, one with health. Diabetes in the 1990s caused him to acquire weight. He joined Jenny Craig and shed 40 pounds to change things. Jenny Craig named him their first male spokesman after his transformation encouraged so many. In a full circle, the actor who played innocence and honesty on TV inspired people again with his real-life bravery. Mathers wasn't the only one whose life changed. Co-star Ken Osmond played Eddie Haskell, a movie-like plot. Real-life hero Ken Osmond. Eddie Haskell was a memorable TV character who was nice to adults but cunning with kids. Fans believed rumors that Ken Osmond, who played him, had become Alice Cooper. An interview comparison between Cooper and Eddie started the rumors, but it was a misunderstanding that became an urban legend. Truth was much more shocking. Never become a rock star, Osmond. He joined police. After suffering with typecasting, he joined the LAPD and served for years. He even grew a mustache to hide. In the motorcycle and narcotics divisions, he faced danger daily. A suspected vehicle thief shot him 3 times during a chase. He survived because to his bulletproof vest. The episode was included in Top Cops, demonstrating his heroism. After healing, he retired and co-wrote a 2014 book on his experiences. After leaving Hollywood, Osmond led a peaceful life, illustrating that famous personalities can make a difference without the spotlight. He died at 76 in 2020, leaving a brave and dedicated legacy. Edward's shift from prankster to hero highlighted that humans are more than their roles. Not all former cast members changed their lives so drastically. Like Frank Bank, who played Lumpy, some followed a different artistic path. Post-Lumpy life and Cleaver's teachings. Frank Bank's Clarence Lumpy. Beaver was bullied by awkward Rutherford. Frank was really different in person. He appeared 50 times in the original series and 101 times in the new Leave It to Beaver. He quit acting and became a wealthy stockbroker. His 1997 book, Me Lumpy, My Leave It to Beaver Days and Other Wild Hollywood Life, detailed his wild life, including claiming to have had over 1,000 women. It was a surprising confession from a TV fool. Frank said that the show significantly affected his views on family and love. He said, "Normalcy, please. I want a Cleaver life." He married his high school sweetheart and had 2 daughters, enjoying the happy family life he portrayed. The show influenced both the audience and the actors, as his statements proved. Barbara Billingsley's real life reflected that goodness. She often said June Cleaver's kindness and patience shaped her. Her son Glenn remarked, "She was as nurturing, classy, and lovely as June Cleaver, and we were proud to share her with the world." She said the boundary between herself and her role blurred with time. She stated writers start writing about you and their character, so you get confused. That blend of fact and fiction made Leave It to Beaver magical for years. Every actor learned, loved, and changed. They showed that a show's end may be the start of a new plot. Star kids and mommies. Child actor Robert Rusty Stevens played Beaver's close pal, Larry Mondello. He starred in approximately 70 episodes and was loved for his clumsiness and humor. Unexpectedly, his character left the show. Many thought his family moved to Philadelphia because his dad got a new job, but there's more. Rusty's mother caused major set issues, Barbara Billingsley stated in a 2000 interview. She said, "We adored Rusty. He was great in that part, but his mother was a hassle, so they fired him." She added that Rusty's mother kept visiting the producer's office to make demands until they fired him. It's tragic how parental influence may ruin a child's career. Not every set mom had an issue. Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow's mothers were there daily to care for and ground their boys. They didn't manage the show. Support was their only purpose. It helps boys distinguish reality from television. They felt safe with their mothers, especially in difficult moments. Imagine being a kid actor with your mom cheering you on from a few feet away. They remained calm and assured. Tony Dow's mother had a fascinating Hollywood background. Tony Dow's amazing mother and Hollywood's boldest scene. Tony Dow was raised in film. Muriel Virginia Dow, his mother, was a stunt woman in early westerns and Clara Bow's stunt double. Muriel bravely took perilous slips and moves for others, which is hard. Maybe that's why Tony is calm and fearless. Though he had no acting experience before Leave It to Beaver, his mother's Hollywood flair must have influenced him. Dow's story wasn't the only surprise behind the scenes. The show created unexpected history. Toilet tank on TV. Yes, you heard right. Even a toilet was unsuitable for television back then. When Leave It to Beaver showed a toilet tank, network censors almost prohibited it. They considered it indecent for family TV. However, producers persisted. The episode aired, shocking audiences and raising the bar. A toilet tank made its broadcast debut. That may seem stupid now, but it was a step towards more realistic storytelling. The show was continually trying new ideas, and that brave action broke bounds. Where the Cleavers dwell was kept a secret by the creators, adding to the show's charm. Unnamed but familiar town. 6 seasons left one question unanswered. Where lived the Cleavers? They named their town Mayfield, but never specified its state. This was planned. Mayfield was meant to feel like anyone's hometown. Calm, safe, and pleasant neighbors. The goal was every American town. Viewers felt at ease because the streets, parks, and residences were familiar. The set was created on Universal Studios backlit, and the Cleaver House is still used in films and TV. It symbolized traditional TV. However, the developers used real video from U.S. communities to make Mayfield more realistic, including some Skokie, Illinois photos. This clever method connected viewers to the story. Some admirers imagined the Cleavers lived nearby, since some buildings and streets resembled theirs. It was brilliant to make viewers feel at home. Using real-life photographs and studio sets gave the presentation authenticity. Loved by humans. While fans guessing the Cleavers, the producers were making huge changes, even replacing the family's father before the show aired. The Ward before Hugh, and the most expensive episode. Hugh Beaumont wasn't the initial choice for Ward Cleaver, however someone else might have played him. Ward was played by Max Showalter in the pilot. However, that pilot never aired, so Beaumont replaced him. Producers made one of their best decisions. Showalter worked elsewhere, but Beaumont became the ideal American father. He defined television daddom with his soothing voice and moral advice. Fans wonder how the show might have changed with another actor as the Cleaver family. Interestingly, the show almost changed titles before distribution. It was originally called Wally and the Beaver, but sponsors didn't like it. The name was altered to Leave It to Beaver because it sounded like a nature show. A simple adjustment gave the show its renowned title, making history. Not all production was smooth. The Soup was the most expensive episode to film. A huge universal set billboard was needed for the show. Beaver climbs the billboard to see steam from a large cup and falls into it. As people gathered and firefighters tried to save him, chaos ensued. Big stunt cost more than any other episode, but it was worth it. Family Guy spoofs the iconic scene by having Peter Griffin fall into a cup. Producers even utilized actors as extras to save money. Beaver's teacher ate lunch in an adjacent restaurant table as an extra in one episode, unnoticed by the family. This cleverly reduced expenditures while giving liveliness to the background. Leave It to Beaver included more than a family. This inventive experiment broke conventions, challenged limits, and became one of America's most cherished TV shows. Which Leave It to Beaver behind-the-scenes facts startled you most, and why? Can a healthy show like this succeed in modern TV? Or has TV changed too much? Comment your ideas below. Please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing Hollywood stories. See you later.